Jose has always been a little klept up. I started just taking change out of mom's purse. It started with change, and it started to dollar bills, and as I felt like it was going unnoticed. I just started taking bigger bills and bigger quantities. I learned that behavior, and as hard as it is to say, and I think I told her one time, but I learned it from my mother. Followed my mom one time, and I saw her putting toothpaste, toothbrushes, small little items. And in my head, I was like, well, I assumed it was hard times, and I felt bad. And I was like, from that day forward, I never asked my mom for anything, because I felt like I would cause her to do that more. So then I started taking stuff to help out, so she wouldn't have to do that stuff. So that habit, it kept until Foot Locker. Once I got promoted because of my sales skills. After a talk with my manager, who actually put in the work for the promotion, he was like, I know that you have done some stuff, because I look at the electronic records. The questionable things is not solid, but I believe in you, and I know you can run the store. So I got promoted in the middle of the week on a Wednesday. I was on vacation. I got called in as like an emergency. So I was like, what kind of emergency could you possibly need little Jose for? I go into the Monroe Mall, and my district manager meets me in between Foot Action and Foot Locker, which back then they were basically across the hall from each other. She stops me and she says, look into the store and tell me what you see, what would you do? And I just went in. That visual is outdated, and I could tell from here they don't have shoe forms. The sneakers are not bar laced, and as I'm walking in, I'm just tearing it up. And so she tells me, wait right here. And I was standing by the t-shirt folding table. So I started just folding t-shirts, and then I see them come back out, and the man is taking off his shirt. And I was like, oh shit, this guy just got fired, and I'm about to get a fucking promotion. So she comes up to me, because he leaves out the back door. So she comes up to me, she was like, you want the store? Fuck yeah, I said to my district manager. She was like, it's yours. That was, for me, a very big moment for me, because, I started from the top. Any job I ever started, always from the bottom, I rise up to the top. But I end up getting bored, not challenged, or I feel like I'm being mistreated. But at first, I did try to do it legit. So I started on that Wednesday, and prior working at Foot Action, every week we would profit from $5,000 to $8,000 on the week. So when I left, we started profiting. Foot Locker started profiting. They were number 16 in the district, because there's 16 stores, or were at that time. Foot Action only made $200 in profit that week. I didn't want to take all the credit, but everyone that I remember that used to shop at Foot Action came looking for me. But I was the only one full-time. So I'm there literally open to close every day for about like 6 weeks almost. It just came to the point where I felt like, you know what, I don't feel appreciated. I'm not being compensated for all these insane hours that I'm working. And that's when I decided, you know what, I'm gonna compensate myself. And that's when I started taking cash deposits from the other stores, because I was a host store. And because Foot Locker owned Foot Action, Champs, Lady, Kids Foot Locker, at that time it was Champs and Foot Action. At night, they would drop the deposits at my store. I was supposed to witness these drops, but because I was a young manager, I would tell people, as I'm doing my paperwork, they'll come in the gate. I said, just give me 2 seconds as I'm wrapping my paperwork up, and I go back there and sign the lock. No respect. They'll just drop it and walk out. The bags that I didn't witness, those are the ones that I was taking. And they were held accountable for it. I was investigated 3 times. And the first two times, some of the managers had to take the heat because I didn't witness the logs. And the second time, because I was manipulating the logbook for the bags, the armor guards went down for me. When the heat came, I forgot the name of the restaurant. I was in the Bronx with a girl I was dating at the time, loss prevention. And they basically wanted me to come in, tell my story, because you know you did it, just with no one else. And you're not here when you should be here. It's in your best interest to cooperate because we can work something out. But if you don't show up, then we're coming at you full force. And as arrogant as I was like, bring it on. The time was coming. Jose, you're gonna go away. You're gonna go away for a long time. And it came to the point where I was bedridden for like 2 months. Stress. I didn't eat. I didn't bathe. I was giving up. I was scared. And it was good and bad. My girlfriend at the time gave me an ultimatum with tears in her eyes. She was like, I can't stand there and watch you just give up. I need you to get up and do something. I wasn't ready, but I did it for her. So I got a job at Barnes & Noble's and then doing the same shit, doing gift cards, because that's what I was doing prior to cash and I never got caught. So I thought, you know what? Let me go back to gift cards and not get caught up. But customers had complained about their gift cards being blank after they know they loaded it. They still couldn't prove it because I know cameras, they don't catch everything. In my hands, I really know how to move. But I told myself, Jose, you're never gonna fucking learn. So I just told him, let's just go to the office. I'll write out the statement. I'm not even gonna argue this shit. So I ended up getting sent two separate felonies. I forgot the word is. I basically served them concurrently, which I was lucky, only because I did it before I got sentenced for the original crime. It's funny now that I remember as a kid, I was teased by my friends because I was on a roll, I was a mad geek, but I still was in those social circles that people didn't understand. How do you do that? You hang out a lot and you still get straight A's. They told me, you're the goody two shoes. You're gonna have that grand life that we all think about, but we know we're not gonna go because we know what we wanna do. They wanna catch some drugs and stuff like that. And I had told them, I said, you guys have no idea what I do when I'm not around you guys. And I knew then at a teenage like that, I kind of put it on myself. I knew I was gonna go to prison one day because my behavior, I enjoyed the rush. And it caught up to me and I couldn't deny it. It was like hearing the judge say originally 5 to 15, I was like, that's what somebody gets for the manslaughter. I was like, I didn't hurt anybody, but I did because I cost people their livelihoods. And I remember sitting my first couple of weeks in my bunk when I finally got to Cape Vincent. I thought about those people. Years. The sentence was 3 to 9, but behaving myself, staying out of trouble. I could have got out August of 2010 because my good time was taken away because I was in the SHU or special housing unit for over, I believe the stipulation was 30 days. Even though it was wrongful that I was in SHU, it still counted that I spent time in there, and that took my good time, 6 months. So I was wrongfully placed in the SHU the first time it was 7 days. And actually I have a letter from my friend Flacco, who, well, they call him kites. He sent the kite to me in solitary. He knew my home address. He knew all my contact information. So he wrote a letter as if I wrote it and didn't put a stamp on it. So without sufficient postage, they returned it to you. So they returned it to me in special housing. And it was just a blessing, a message. And he told me, in case I don't see you, he was like, you're good. Just listen to the voice, because he literally said that you're gonna hear God speak to you. And he was right, because I started thinking about my life. Even in those 7 days, I didn't know I was gonna spend 7 days, because also rest in peace to Deacon Ruddy. He believed in me. I don't know how he did it, but he got me out 7 days. But the second time around, it was just a heavier charge that no one could do anything from, which I didn't expect. I was accused of being the head of the Bloods because there was an interview slip that was mailed out of D Block, which I was housed in, and the handwriting was similar. So similar, and my reaction to it is what made them feel like, oh no, we got the right guy. I was threatened. I remember they were playing good cop, bad cop. One of the correction officers had typed a message on the computer screen, because obviously the interview's being recorded. So he had said, it was on the screen, it was 3 lines. You better tell the truth, or something about me getting fucked up. So he had said something about me physically getting beaten by them. He threatened me with losing my good time, which I ended up losing anyway. And I forgot what the third one was. So my response was, I understand why you're coming at me, because my handwriting is similar. But it wasn't me, and I don't know who did it. But I ended up figuring it out after it was too late. There was a kid who the Bloods attempted to jump him, and he fought 2 of them on his own. Even though he won, he still felt like he had to, I don't know, turn the heat up on them for some reason. So he wrote a letter saying the Bloods have a hit out for the warden as initiation for new recruits. And he wrote it in cursive, and I wrote in cursive that week to my love of my life at the time, when I was writing the letters, the poem, and the cards. It was Valentine's week, and I decided to write in cursive. And that letter is what they used to compare to that interview slip he sent out. So when it came to the hearing, I said, I object, because even in prison, if you don't object on the record, just like in the real world, you don't preserve your right to appeal. That's one thing that I read in a jailhouse lawyer's manual. You have to say I object, and then state what you're objecting. Because you can be right and have the proof that you're innocent, just like in the real world. But if you don't say I object, you're going down for it. So I objected to the interview slip, because I said it wasn't listed in the misbehavior report. You guys quoted a notebook, letters, and other papers. So I need you to present those 3 items to prove that that's what you used to compare. So they adjourned it, or the civilian adjourned it. It's a civilian who does a hearing, who doesn't study law, doesn't know shit, but they assume you're guilty because you're already in greens. Still found me guilty, amongst other stuff that I objected to. Then I was transported to Governor SHU, which is I think they called it at the time a Supermax SHU, because you're just 24-hour lockdown. They say you got an hour, but literally is you just walk into another cage. They pop open the door and you're just in the cage. So it is 24-hour lockdown. Prior to me leaving, I was reporting, I was writing grievances on these correctional officers because they were threatening me. They were putting handcuffs on too tight. I had, it faded, but I used to have a scar on my wrist from that one time. Like it literally pinched my skin and held on to it because they took me to the shower. You only shower maybe you think twice a week, something like that. So I reported that, and that's when that followed me everywhere I went. Because I remember when I got off the bus in Governor, the officer who was escorting me, he said, "Oh, you're the special one," because he read my DIN number and my name. He said, "Oh, you're the special one from Cape Vincent." And I was like, "Shit, what does this mean?" So when I got into my cell, our cell was searched, and literally all of our property, mail, even it wasn't our property, but even our mattress, everything that we used was in the shower. Wet. And some officer took my toothbrush. I don't know how they knew which one was mine, because this was fine. They rubbed it underneath their boot because it was black. The bristles were black. And I couldn't brush my teeth for a whole week. I just basically did one of these. I reported it, and it just kept getting worse. No one physically put their hands on me, which I was surprised. But sometimes I wouldn't get my food, or they would just shove it and it would fall. And I was getting very upset. It was very emotional. This is still in the midst of me fighting the charge that I was put in there for. So I remember one day, actually I was reading the Bible, but I was still upset. And I was like, "God, why is this happening?" And I remember saying, I'm already here for what I did, the grand larceny and falsified business records. But this extra harassment that I'm getting is not fair, but I know it's part of the culture. So I remember saying to myself, if I don't win this appeal, all this anger, all this frustration that I have, that first CO to pop open that gate, he's gonna get it all. But this peace came over me, and all I heard was focus on your appeal. Just focus on your appeal. Forget the harassment, forget what they're doing. Stop writing grievances. Focus on your appeal, because that's what's going to get you out. I decided to have a conversation with the same officer. I remember when he was doing his rounds, I had called for his attention. He came to the gate, and I had told him, "I'm going to stop all the grievances that I'm writing. It's nothing, not going to hear anything out of me. But I will tell you is that I know how you view me. I'm already here for my punishment. This playing with my food, my property, I know you guys doing it out of me writing the grievances, which in the grievance process, it tells you that you're protected from retaliation. But that's not true. They know who writes it. They know who's it on. It goes in their jacket, I believe. And that's probably why they decided to, okay, so he wants to put that shit in my folder, so I'm gonna fuck with him and make his life hell. Which I believe if I didn't pull back, they wouldn't either. So I thank God that he spoke to me that day, because I told that man, you're gonna see me walk out of here, because I'm the one that's being truthful in this very moment. I know why I'm here. Not here in the shoe, but I know why I'm doing my time. But why I'm in this shoe, I'm not supposed to be here. And he was like, that's what everybody says. I said, mark my word, I'm getting out of here. I said, but just know that you're not going to hear anything out of me anymore. I don't want no problems. So I write my appeal. It was literally in bullet point form. I didn't even write full sentences. I used, I had a little yellow notepad, probably like that big. And I wrote it to the commissioner in Albany. I think it took like 2-3 weeks to get a response. They'll return the decision. And they said it's going to take 30 days for a transfer to be approved, but you're getting out of the shoe. And the same officer that threatened my life was the same officer who packed up my property and escorted me out of that unit. One thing that I said to myself, and I would say it to people, is that, oh, you want my new shirt or you want my snacks? You can have it. Like this is your home. I'm just a visitor, but not me. I caught myself getting comfortable one time, but then I was like, nope. Took all the pictures down, all these shirts and different things. I mean, give all this shit away. I put it on the table one day and said, "You're just free to take it. I don't want none of it." Why am I getting dressed up for on a Friday, like movie night? Like seriously, people would get haircuts in the bathroom. I would just watch the movies, but I wouldn't dress up for it. I'd dress up for a visit. She came up maybe like once or twice in the beginning, cause she was a college student. She actually went to study abroad. I think within the first year. Actually, yes. Because I remember she had wrote me a letter about Thanksgiving. Oh, Thanksgiving is an American holiday. She was in Spain. They don't celebrate Thanksgiving over there. I was like, oh, okay. So she only came like around twice in the beginning and then just dropped off the mat. But I kept writing. Letters. Every Saturday, I mail out a letter. I don't know how many pages, but it was always a letter, a card, and a poem. For 2 years, with no response. And then in August of 2010, I was in Mohawk. So she comes up randomly. I didn't know I was getting a visit. I get called. I'm like, I'm all woofed out. I was like, well, it's a visit. I just threw on whatever I had and went, and it was her. And I was like, oh, shit. Because I thought she was like, to a certain point, I kind of like forgot about her almost. I was so used to not hearing from her. But she literally just slept in my arms because she drove 5 hours. And she was tired, and I was like, I'm just happy to see you. I was like, and to see her letter, like usually there's no contact. They saw that she was asleep, she slept. My arms was like in sight, so they didn't say anything. But when the visit ended and she was walking away towards the exit, she didn't turn around. And I was like, yeah, it's done.
Was she very important to you?
Very much so. Because prior to my incarceration, her parents, well, her mom and her stepfather, which were parents, they were NYPD. And at the time when I was under investigation, her phone went dead. She used my phone to call her stepfather. And then when they had ran my phone records to see who I was in communication with, they saw an NYPD number, and they investigated. Internal Affairs came over to the house, and then that's when she had told me that her mom doesn't want to see me at all, and that I should leave you, But she's still by my side. And then I was like, wow, this girl really loves me. And I was like, I gotta appreciate this and learn from this. And just contemplating on how she was with me, I knew I had to, the way I related to women and how I related to myself had to change. It didn't work at first with my daughter's mom, but my son's mom, my most recent relationship, I didn't entertain anybody. It was just her. And it felt great to know that I was doing my best. And even though the relationship right now, we're not together, but how we relate and how we co-parent and how we like just are able to talk, be vulnerable, and still be respectful and cordial. It's just, I wouldn't have it no other way, honestly, because my son benefits from that. He's learning true love from his mom and his dad.
Your freedom, like when you finally like, my time to pack out you leaving.
Whew.
Was that
That was like a
were you
dream.
truly free then? Or do you feel free now? Because you said like you feel how you feel,
Yeah.
right? So like there's freedom,
Yeah.
but was it freedom?
I was released physically, but free. I'm getting more of a taste of it now because now, I could care less what people think of my situation, because people always criticize. And, you know, I still got friends that talk shit, hence today. But I'm comfortable and happy where I'm at. That I know that person's who that person is, and I'm only in control of me. You know, God gave me life. He gave me purpose. He didn't give my purpose or my life to someone else to dictate and try to influence. It's on me. So I definitely thought I was free when I got out, but parole was right to her mama ass. Like, no, motherfucker, you ain't done. You still got 6 more years. But the growth and mindset did help me get released from parole supervision three years early. So it was there, you know, I was getting there, but definitely freedom is not something that someone grants to you, you know. Freedom is something you always had. You just gotta realize and walk in it.